The next step is that the user will want to learn what options your API has. That is what use cases, scenarios your API supports, because they're now starting to actually get engaged, and they would want to learn how this API can help them in their work, that is in the business that they have or in the application they're writing right now. Remember that the user just came from a search, or maybe they came from a newsletter. Again, you have them only for a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes at tops. So you have to be really concise, and you have to give the user options that they can exercise very quickly. So I am going to start with a counter example again. This is what you should not do. I like this portal, but they did get a few things wrong. So we are going to talk about how those things affect the explore phase of the portal. Here, this is a API that has a lot of payment related resources. So here I am going to show you what my process was for finding how to accept payments. So here, let's look into that. First, I noticed that there's a couple of options related to payment. I select the first one, which is quite obvious one, but this page is quite long. I see that there's another link that I have to follow. So I'm two links in, and I'm still searching for what scenario will fit into my application. This is a lot of work, and there's a lot of options to go through. So I click through the third option. I'm 3 levels in, and here that I see that there's a huge page that I have to read before I can get started with the API. I'm not going to read this huge page. I just wanted a very quick uh, guide to get started. And it seems like on going through this article, I will have to do a lot of work on my own. The users want to see what value they can get. So how can you get this to them as quickly as possible? And the solution to that is you integrate a lot of getting started guides in your API. You put examples, and you put short examples in your API. I don't mean the long articles accompanied by a short example. I do mean short examples that demonstrate the value very quickly. And you try to make sure that your portal is conveying the use cases, especially the most important ones, the most used ones in your API portal. And you want to do that in a very visible way when the user lands on your API portal. In a survey by Smartware in 2019, they asked a lot of API users what they want to see in the API portals, and a lot of them voted that they want to see examples, right? Because that's how you get started with an API, right? So you want to learn from this and make sure that your API has a lot of examples and that they work for the user. I have an example API portal, and this one has really done a remarkable job at the explore phase. They have listed all the important use cases, and they do that in a very engaging way. There's a whole nice, neat little UI that makes sure that the first thing that you see on this API portal are the most used cases. But you can also switch to the tabs. You can see that there's options for online, in-person, and subscription payment. But the most important cases are right there on top, and they're quite easy to grasp. I know in one glimpse that this API can accept payments. This API can accept payments recurringly, and then you can do payouts after you have received payment. So this is fantastic because by showing this in this way, they have done is they have helped me build a mental model of what this API does. And that's important because later when I'm trying to integrate this API in my application, that mental model will help me figure out what endpoints to call, how to call those endpoints, and if I want to learn more, what are links do I have to click through to keep on exploring, which is what the explore phase is about. And Stripe does this because they understand very strongly that developers are looking for a quick solution. At this point, they're not really ready to go deep into details. So for that, they keep on expanding the examples. You will see even more examples and scenarios, and getting started guides on their landing page, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. You see that they have even created entire projects that you can clone to get quickly get started using your API, using their API. So, to top it off, they do not just have all this neat little guides set up. Their guides are actually quite engaging, and they do that either by creating videos, but in this case, they have actually created interactive documentation. Yes, that's right. You can interact with the documentation, and in their interactive documentation, what they have done is that they have shown the code sample that the user is going to be using, and they have broken it down and explain clearly what each piece of that code sample is doing. Not only that, you can even see what that code sample implements, because you can see that UI rendered here, you can interact with it. So that is pretty fantastic. And this is going to keep the user engaged throughout their explore phase. And this is what is needed to convert the user and get them to the next phase. So to summarize, what's critical to get right in the explore phase, you need to have a lot of quick getting started guide covering your most important scenarios. If you're thinking about how many, you should pick 4 or 5 of the most important scenarios in your API, and you should write quick getting started guides for them. And you should make sure that you are surfacing them as early as possible in your doc site, so that the users do not keep engage with your site, and that they learn about what options there are when they use your API, and that they can quickly make a decision whether this API is for them or not. So this is awesome. We are already 2 phases in, and we have managed to keep the user